Jersey, do you pronounce your last name Neese?
Yeah.
Just like Neese's sausage, or
Yeah. No relation. No relation.
fuck, dude? I want
Like
some
Nissan?
Huh?
Like Nissan? Not
There you go.
Niece's sausage?
Well, Neese
Nissan.
apostrophe S, asshole. And Richie, how do you spell your last name?
Oh, yeah. Gaiser.
Gaiser?
Gaiser.
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 Like a guy.
Gaiser!
Yeah, exactly. Like old faithful.
Old Fightful.
Old faithful.
I call my dick Gaiser.
Literally, my name is Dick Geiser. That is not even a joke.
That will come
it's
up.
just an eternal joke for my life.
Ja, und Geiser. Und Wiener Geiser. All right, greetings everyone from Tenafly, New Jersey to Odenbach, Germany, and last and always least, Pelzer, South Carolina, the town so insanely terrible that 2 counties will not claim it. That over there is...
Brian.
My name is Tom, and on the board is young Logan, and we have a couple good guests with us today on the Mad Park Podcast. Richie Gaiser. Say hello, Richie.
Hello.
You didn't say Richie. If I say hello, Richie, you should say hello, Richie.
No.
Okay. Oh, that's hilarious. And Jersey Neese.
Howdy, howdy.
How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you. Richie, he of Phantom Friends, and Jersey of Run Home Jack. Mad Park Podcast is recorded here inside the vault, located at the Playroom, 916 Tuckasegee Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, serving Charlotte's musical and creative community since 1994. Check them out at www, as always, .theplayroom.online.com. Brian, what you got for us today, man?
Nobody uses www first off, but it's fine.
Okay. You should hear people with speech impediments. Dabba, dabba, dabba.
Anyway, so yeah,
I
we
just
got
always thought it was a bunch
Jersey
of
and Richie
Vs.
in here.
V's. V, 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 V.
I just thought it was like 6 V's before every
That's
website.
like Roman numeral stuff.
Where are you guys both originally from? Either one of
You
you
were
start
first. You're the guest.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're out of town.
Yeah, out of town in more ways than one. Originally, I was born Illinois. Lived in the Midwest until I was about 12. Moved down to North Carolina with my family. My family moved back to Iowa. I stayed here. Then family moved to Texas. So I've got family everywhere, but originally from the Midwest and been here since I was 12, so a little over 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Richie?
Nice, yeah. Born in Virginia, lived there for 5 years, lived in Jersey for a year, popped down to Charlotte, basically lived here ever since. Did go to USC for 4 years and then got out of Columbia and came back to Charlotte.
You could use vulgarity. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
Hey, what part of Jersey, by the way?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Tenafly?
I
Morristown?
was 6.
East Brunswick?
So I just remember a lot of snow and going to school.
Did you notice he said snow and then wiped his nose?
Yeah, that was audible too, right? This is some gain on these mics. Let's say I was an adventurous little 6-year-old in New Jersey.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it is
So,
Jersey.
no apparent knowledge of geography, but plenty of illicit drugs.
Let's just say the two are not mutually exclusive. The reason for one is probably the reason for the other one.
What about in Virginia? You're not from Richmond, are you?
No.
Or didn't live there?
It's from Manassas.
I know where
That's where I was
Manassas is.
born. Prince William County Hospital. And then just kind of moved around there every year until we moved to Jersey.
Richmond has a good scene, man, music-wise.
That's what I keep hearing. I need to make it up.
Guar, Lamb of
need to
God.
make it up
Come
there.
on, man.
Yeah, dude, just for the Lamb of God itself. Just the amount
The
of
phrase is
juju
actually
that
for the
they
love
have
of
there.
God, but yes.
All right, Steve Vai, get out of here.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
went deep on that.
Oh,
Brian, you
I
don't know
took
nothing
it
about
there.
that.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
Amateur.
Yeah, love Charlotte.
You don't like Columbia?
When I went to school there, had some pretty major depression issues, so I wasn't really making it out too much.
Because of Columbia?
A variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Definitely made a lot of strides since then for like mental health reasons. But this was like 2007 to 2011, so it was mostly just kind of like a fratty bar scene.
Yeah.
Definitely not really
Was
in
New
my
Brookland
speed.
not up running then?
It was.
love that
But
place.
honestly, I couldn't even tell you of there. near the end of my time there, more and more venues kind of started to pop up, for sure. And definitely went to New Brooklyn a couple of times, and that was badass.
Yeah, it stunk in there. It was. I saw High on Fire there. Eris Cargo, my
wearing the
shirt,
shirt right now.
motherfuckers. But anyway, it's a good place. It was 12 degrees outside that night.
Word.
Froze my engine block.
Wow. Literally or figuratively?
No, I got back home and it froze my engine block. I didn't drive that truck
Is
down
that a
there.
metaphor?
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know how it is when your mom's always freezing your engine block. Mom, I'm wearing my retainer. Shit.
How about you, Jersey? Did you go to college anywhere?
I went to Piedmont Community College for a little bit for film, probably about like a year and a half, and then just
Where's that? That's not Central Piedmont, is it?
No, it's
okay.
it's oh god, it's out in Hillsboro, I believe.
Okay, yeah, it's out east a little bit, up towards
Yeah.
Raleigh, I guess.
Yep, absolutely.
What got you both into music, and then the collective bands you guys are kind of in? Because I'm sure there's been different iterations of bands you've been in, maybe even each band.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
Yeah, so I
you
mean,
can
just
take this one first.
All right.
Yeah,
Ping pong it back and forth.
there you go. Yeah.
So I legitimately put all of my stock in why I love music to the fact that when I was probably like 3, my parents got me this white
Pre-cocaine.
plastic pre-cocaine. Oh, I just bumped that. This white plastic preschool PRESKOOL brand little keyboard that had a loop functionality, it had different sounds on it, it had a like little recorder thing, and I would sit there on the toilet and I would just mess on this thing for like.
Could you do like samples?
You could do you couldn't sample, but you could record a little riff and then
Yeah.
play it back, and then you could do like a little bass riff over
So
it.
that would
and
be
it
your
had,
loop track.
Yeah, exactly. Like you couldn't record with a microphone, but you could play things, and it had like different, like very 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 basic like drum loops and things like that.
were your parents into music, and they kind of got you that because of that, or they just got it
Or
for
just
you?
to
think it
get
was
you
just
out of
like
their
a-
fucking face.
Little A, little B.
This is before iPads and just like shut up, go watch YouTube, like get out of my
Stay on the
face.
toilet.
So legit, I do think that did that for a while, and then took piano lessons when I was also in elementary school, and I think all of that kind of just shaped my brain to really enjoy like the patterns of music and the expression behind music, and being able to just like I love just to just improv a lot, and I love writing, and I think a lot of that stems from just sitting there and BSing on the toilet on my little plastic keyboard as a really young lad. And then when I was 13, I got a guitar because this girl that I was like, I was crushing on in middle school, she was like, you should get a guitar and we should start a band. And I'm like, well, okay. So got one of those little Yamaha like starter pack things for Christmas, and
The best.
could not play it at all. It took like months and months and months of being able to figure out how hard to even press down on the strings to even get a note to ring out. I was just doing there going, just raking the strings.
It's the same noise I make on the toilet.
Well, and also
shit.
in your defense,
Yes, shit.
the action on those like Yamaha and
Oh,
First Act
dude.
guitars, it's like 2 inches from the string to the
Yeah.
fretboard.
Especially
it's
out
a
of the
nightmare
box.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thankfully, at this point, I mean, do we have broadband yet, or might have been still dial-up at this point? But there was a bounty of websites. There was like guitaretabs.com. That was a good one back in the day. And I used to just print out guitar tabs, and I learned like Sum 41 and like Metallica, and like that's kind of like my origins on guitar. A lot of like punk and metal and kind of blues, and then it's kind of just spread from there. So that's kind of like my origin story, I guess, if you will, for where I am musically. I don't want to keep yapping about everything.
In all seriousness, I do think it's admirable that your parents gave you a musical instrument instead of Stretch Armstrong or whatever the fuck kids are doing nowadays.
I did have plenty of toys, and they did kind of force me to do piano lessons, but I do think that was legitimately incredibly helpful for
Absolutely.
understanding music and the basic foundations of music, because really at its core it's just like a major scale, and just where you play that major scale and how you play it is like really everything. And understanding how it all works together, I think it's all really important. But also for like 10 years, I was like, nah, that's bullshit. I don't need to know anything about theory. I don't need to learn about how to read sheet music. I don't need none of this. I just play from my heart.
Yep.
And then when I got older, I'm like, oh, that's dumb, because I'm limiting myself and how I can actually express myself by not fully diving into the knowledge that I can.
As you tapped on that preschool sitting on the toilet,
yeah.
you thought about, I need to know theory.
Yeah, no, I'm just making what I thought was cool little sounds.
Jersey, how about you? You got cool parents that gave you some cool stuff to play with?
Definitely have cool parents, yeah. I didn't get my first instrument really. Well, I played trumpet in school band in like 3rd grade, but
Yeah, I blow
no.
the old bone every once in a while.
Yeah. No, my grandma on my mom's side was really into piano and everything like that. The only picture I have, or one of the only pictures I have of me and her, is me sitting on her lap at the piano.
Oh, that's cool.
She passed away when I was like a year and a half old, but my family's always been really into music. My parents didn't really play anything. My dad raised me up on a lot of like older metal,
Such as?
Pantera,
And-
Guns N' Roses.
give it to me.
Man, honestly, the biggest one, a lot of Rush too. Rush is one of my
Yeah.
favorites. Zeppelin. But Stevie Ray Vaughan was like a staple in the house. SRV is huge in shaping how I picked up a guitar and started playing. I got my first guitar. It was either 14th or 15th birthday. And was kind of just fiddling around just because I wanted to learn. I had already played trumpet before, and really what made me be like, okay, I want to be in a band, I want to do this, is The Used put out a CD-DVD combo called Maybe Memories, and the DVD side was pretty much just the story of them being like high school kids who played music they were really passionate about, and it went somewhere. And it was the first time I'd kind of seen it in that context of like just everyday people doing what they love and other people supporting it and it growing and turning into something huge and bigger than themselves. And that was kind of like the switch in my head when I was like 14, 15 years old. I was like, okay, now I have a reason to play guitar. Now I have a reason to continue doing
At what
stuff.
point did you say, I'm kind of done with the trumpet? I mean, you know, I'm not dogging it.
Not long after I decided, I should probably try and play the trumpet. Like,
12 hours.
yeah.
I won't make you guys talk about other bands you've been in, but what was, two-part question, like what was the first band you guys were each in, and then
And the genre.
and the genre,
Yeah.
and then when did Phantom Friends and Run Home Jack start?
Okay. So, short history is I played bass in a band for like 3 years. Then I played drums in a band for about a year and a half. And then I started doing the vocals game in a metal band from the area called Patterns. We went on a few tours, played a bunch of really big shows locally with some big touring acts. And that was really fun. And that kind of fell apart after a while. Excuse me. Started working on a studio project with a buddy of mine. I won't say any names. We went into a nicer studio and tracked a 5-song EP, and he decided to pull the plug last minute and was kind of, just kind of dicked everybody over in the band.
Was that for Patterns or was that after Patterns?
That was the project directly after Patterns. Still somewhat metal, a lot more singing in it. But at that point, I was kind of at that crossroads of, do I just pack it up and stop, or do I keep trying to do something else? And I kind of just had the epiphany, like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on my own terms. I'm going to write the music that I want to write. I've always kind of been doing a collaborative process with everybody, which has turned into some form of metal one way or another. And
kind of like having roommates with music.
yeah, exactly. So
it can be dicey.
Yep. I invested in a bunch of gear and spent a good 6-8 months just working on a bunch of original songs by myself and presented it to a buddy of mine who had a little local studio, and those songs turned into the first 3-song EP released by Run Home Jack. So it kind of just started as like, I'm going to make music on my own terms by myself, write it all out, and go track it somewhere. And then I've been lucky enough to find some really cool dudes to play it along with me live and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Does the band name come from Hook?
Yes, it did. I get that question a lot.
I figured as much, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Great
what about,
movie.
What about
Is that a movie about Julia Roberts' nose, or what is that?
We need the soundboard.
Weird. Sorry, wrong sample.
What about you? What about you, Richie? That's the sound of the podcast bombing.
So first band, well, I use the term band pretty loosely here, but that was that middle school
sitting on the toilet?
situation.
Oh.
Sitting on the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man.
Toilet jams.
Now that's what I call toilet jams.
There we go. I was like, there's something there.
Yeah.
I don't know what jam, but I might call it toilet jelly.
Ooh.
They're not all hits, guys. They're not all home runs.
That's a pretty shitty joke.
And there it is.
There it is.
Screeching halt. Let's edit that out in post, Logan.
So yeah, middle school band. It was basically just trying to do like no effects covers. Really, it was like we're like 13. Like we don't know how to do anything.
Was it you and the girl, or was it some other?
Yeah, it was
friends?
me. It was me and two girls. We had
Nice.
I guess I don't know. We had a girl on drums, and we had the other girl on bass, and then I was playing guitar, and like then they were like, "You should be the vocalist too," and I'm like, "Okay." That didn't really go anywhere for obvious reasons. We didn't really know what the fuck we were doing. But like after that kind of fizzled out, just kept playing guitar because at that point I kind of just naturally found like a really good interest in it. Like you were saying, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like I went to. Do you guys remember Media Play? Were you guys ever in Charlotte when Media
Let's take
Play
a
was still
quick
around?
time out here. I bought my Eddie Somewhere in Time action figure at Media Play. Thank you.
So Media Play was having its like final closing down clearance sale, and you could buy like 1,000 CDs for like $1. So I'd always heard like I had all these guitar player magazines at this point, and it's always like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm like, all right, I'll check this guy out. So I got like the 3 CD like box set of like his first 3 albums. And then I was like, "Oh shit! This is a whole new level of guitar playing that I've like
Couldn't
never
stand the
really."
weather, Texas flood,
Yeah.
and
The Sky is Crying, Pride and Joy, like that. There's
stuff.
so many good ones.
good stuff.
That
And
opening
hard
chord
as
in
hell
Lenny,
on some of
man.
that stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Those Hendrix covers, good.
Yeah.
Little Wing. I remember
Yeah.
this. There was this like they were playing, Stevie's version of Little Wing on like 99.7 at like midnight one night, and the DJ. This was like I was in high school. It was like 2007 or something, maybe even early. No, it was probably earlier. I'm old. Older than that. But
For all
anyway,
you
so they-
lovers out there, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan.
So they play it, and then the DJ is like, "I'll tell you what, if that song could wear a dress, I'd marry it." And I'm like,
He's not
"You're so
wrong."
right.
Yeah,
you're so
like-
right. That is a beautiful song." And I'm
Oh yeah.
huge influence for a while. I even tried to use like 12 gauge strings for my little like 15-year-old fingers, and I just like tore them up because I was like, "Oh, Eddie, if Stevie Ray Vaughan can do it, then I can do it." And yeah, it's not. You can, but it just takes a
And
lot
then
of
after
work.
the fact, you read about the super glue and the
Oh
fingertips.
yeah,
on it,
and
so,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
so that's like the most metal thing.
Oh,
And he's
God.
not even a metal player. But
Yeah.
Could have been.
yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, the word on the street is that he used to Stevie Ray Vaughan used to literally super glue his fingertips to his non-dominant arm, and then rip the skin off of it to have extra skin on his fingertips, so he wouldn't just get raw in the middle of a show. He would have extra layers of skin to help him get through the night because he plays with such thick strings and just so aggressively.
Yeah.
Ronnie Lott had him amputate the tip of his finger one time so he could make the next game the next week.
No shiz.
Whoa.
Do you guys know who Ronnie Lott was?
Yes. He's
A football player.
Yeah. He would murder you on the field.
mean,
Legally, of course.
So would Miles Garrett.
Nah.
What about? Oh, go ahead.
No, that was him.
Oh,
I was going to keep going. I'll fast forward. I'm kind of lingering here on the Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. So after middle school band, had high school band called Garfield, named after the first letter of everyone in the band's name.
Not the cat.
Not the cat. And this is way before
so how many people were in the
I was about
band?
to say,
8?
that's
four-
like
it was
Slipknot
four. It was,
numbers. Damn.
GFRD. That's 8
Oh,
people.
GF.
It was GFRD.
So
just Garfield, obviously.
It could have been
naturally.
It could have been Gifford.
Gerfold.
Why would I be Gifford when I could be?
Why would you be
Garfield?
Garfield? I mean,
Because it was stupid and memorable. You guys
so is
remember
Frank
it?
Gifford.
Who's that?
See? Point taken.
So in that band, that was the first time I was in a band with my buddy Dom, who's been in every band I've been in ever since, except for a couple of little one-offs here. But he's in Phantom Friends. He's the bassist. He played guitar in that one and sang. Once Garfield broke up, we started another band called Inspectroverse. You can tell we're not very good with easy to
I like
pronounce
that one,
names. It's a cool name, but it's just really confusing. Everyone thought it was introspective. And our gimmick there, this was like in the 2008, 2010 period. So this was when you still had like SKNet Cafe open. And a lot of these old venues that are now long gone. I mean, obviously Tremont was around back then. We would play the kind of that gamut. And our big gimmick was that we would like paint our bodies with like all these like acrylic paints because like in Spectroverse. It was like in like a universe of light. So it was cheesy, but it was good stuff.
The name was fine. The other stuff, I don't know.
Oh, does that make you uncomfortable thinking of me shirtless, painted up?
No, that makes me very
Glistening.
comfortable. Shimmering.
So after that,
Jesus.
yeah.
There you go.
Mommy
So after that, we got Phantom Friends, and that started. I was working at Com Market South End, and they were putting on a like end of the summer kind of show. And then the guy working front of house, TJ Banks. I don't know if you guys know him. He's in a bunch of bands. He was like, Richie, do you want to play this show? And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, all right, we got you on. And I'm like, fuck, I got to find a band and like write songs for a set. So kind of just asked some good homies who I've kind of been like flirting with the idea with of starting a band with, and then we
I
just
hope you
kind
went to
of
Dom
took
first.
it from there. Well, it was Dom, my buddy Matt Wilson, and then his brother Dave on drums.
But did you go to Dom first?
I went to Matt and then Dave because I saw them in that order.
So you went to Dom last.
I went to Dom third, technically.
Last.
There was a fourth.
Okay.
There was Dave.
If you're not first, you're
last.
Exactly. I'm second loser.
Yes, that's basically the oral history. I'm waiting. The oral history.
Well, where should I start? You got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
God
I was just thinking back about them good sandwiches at Common Market, man.
Oh, dude, I miss that. That's actually the inspiration for one of the first songs we wrote. It's called South End Sold, and it was when we got the news that Com Market South End was going to get bulldozed and turned into a corporate office building, and like Com Market South End was like a huge part of my like identity in Charlotte.
It was somewhat short-lived, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
The original one, of course, but I like that one out Monroe. They got a lot more seating there.
Agreed. Actually, I helped open that one up for a couple of weeks before opening up the new one in South End, and then I was out of there and got a new job.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's got Com Market in South End. The original one was just like I'll forever fondly remember it.
Jersey, he name dropped a couple venues here. I've only ever been to the Blind Tiger in Greensboro.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tom's been to any places in Greensboro, but
The last one I remember would probably be Santa Fe Rose circa 1991. Is that still there?
It does not ring any bells. So
I've been to a couple places since then, but
Yeah.
went to some shows at the Coliseum a few times.
what's
there.
the venue? Because like in Charlotte, a lot of them have been closing, and then other places are opening. Breweries are the hot shit here.
Oh, yeah.
What are the venues like in Greensboro?
So it's kind of 50-50. A lot of the bigger staple ones have kind of stopped putting on shows and closed down. The old band that I was in that I mentioned previously, Patterns, our kind of like home turf was Green Street Club right in downtown. I got to see a ton of huge bands. I saw like Under Oath there, Alexis on Fire, Norma Jean, like all separate shows. I know they could probably be on the same bill together, but
That would be a sick bill.
yeah. So they stopped doing shows a little while ago, and then they recently just announced that they were like closing the place altogether. Blind Tiger is huge. Blind Tiger is where a lot of the bigger touring acts come through now. Like Bayside played there last night. We're playing there in December with the Spill Canvas, so there's just like a bunch of big bands coming through. Aside from the Coliseum, there's Cone Denim Center downtown, which is like kind of that bridge. You have like those huge acts that come to the Coliseum, and then there's still like radio acts that are like really big and would sell at the Blind Tiger like that. So Cone Denim is kind of that like middle ground. I think like Shinedown plays there and stuff where they didn't want to do a whole arena show.
It's probably comparable.
Comparable, yeah.
It's probably similar to,
There you go.
to the underground, I assume, then like in the music factory.
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced prevalent.
But other than that, like the one staple for like little local shows has always been the Somewhere Else Tavern, and they unfortunately closed last December.
Why do you think they're closing? Is it not enough if you can't sell food, or is there they don't have stuff booked every night, or sometimes the shows aren't selling out?
I know, like it's a really college heavy town, so I think it a lot of it might have to do with the fact that if a venue can open up as a college hangout, like, or a bar, and like have kind of like a college club night after 8-9 p.m. on a weeknight, as opposed to maybe making some money on a show with people selling tickets and stuff
Steady
like that.
money.
Yeah, I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes a whole lot of sense. But that's why I'm thankful for all the ones that have stuck around,
Yeah.
and ones like the Tiger, where like I swear the Tiger has a show like 5-6 nights out of the
Yeah,
week
they
every
really
week,
do.
like from all kinds of genres. So it's really awesome.
You on a first name basis with the owners?
Oh, yeah. My old band played there a few times. My old band played there at a sold out show with We Came as Romans, and that was just insane.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
You're dropping names, bro.
Right?
So, I'm sorry. No, I
like that.
It's just truth.
I wanted to put it into context. Like
I
I wasn't
appreciate your
hot
arrogance.
shit. I was just playing with people who were hot shit.
Just to digress. Am I using that word properly?
We don't know words. today.
Digest?
Back
Am I
up.
saying that right? Digress.
Digest.
You want some Taco Bell?
Yes, it's digest. What type of music would you say Patterns was? I'm trying to get a feel.
Like, I mean, just early 2000s metalcore, really.
Okay.
We had like clean vocals on maybe like 2 songs, and one of them were guest vocals by a buddy of mine. But just a bunch of breakdowns, a bunch of fast riffs,
Hell yeah.
and me screaming as loud and as fast as I can.
Golden era.
Do you feel like Run Home Jack is gonna? It's kind of gonna be a mix of a little bit of metal and the alt.
I'll say this: everybody in the band,
Anything for the
everybody
ladies?
in the band, everybody playing with me right now, all comes from a really metal background. We all started playing music in metal bands and all that stuff. We all still listen to a lot of metal bands, but we do have like a clear idea of where we want to go and where we want to take it. But we want to use what we've learned from everything else.
Yeah.
Like I got to meet the Spill Canvas at a meet and greet, and they said one of the things that they like about being into heavy music is they can bring a lot of the aspects from heavy music and put it in like a major key in a higher, like more standard tuning, and it just gives an extra crunch and like an extra rock groove to it that a lot of people who just focus on rock or just focus on pop will miss. So we want to take some influences from metal going forward, but not like screaming and breakdowns.
I want you to
and
take
sweet
all
picking
metal
and stuff.
influences
Yeah.
and put it into maybe like, I don't know, country western.
Because like what you kind of mentioned earlier about like the used and stuff, I see some of that in the music you've got.
Yeah, and Run
now.
Home Jack. Yeah, definitely noticed that too.
Where it's
I
not,
appreciate
it's
that,
not
yeah.
like it's not metal, but it's it's a
Yeah,
little heavier
yeah.
alt.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we wanted to go for. Like all of our like bios on like SoundCloud and stuff say like high energy alt rock with indie emo influences.
Metal roots.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, I think we have the exact same high energy alt rock, but we just say progressive instead of metal. That's the only difference in
Okay,
our
nice.
descriptions.
But you know that's funny you say that, Richie, because when we did that thing at that thing was a music gig, not that thing, but at Hattie's.
when we did that thing,
The first,
we weren't going to talk about that.
well, my wife said it's cool.
Okay, cool.
He did say it was cool. Anyway,
Yeah, it's cool.
the first time I saw them perform, I was like, wait a minute, man. I could see these guys like doing a lot. Easily just flipping it over and playing like some old Death or playing some Animals as leaders or something like that, man. I mean, it just you could tell it was way slower,
Yeah.
but you could see it. You could just see it, or you could hear it technically. But
That's like a huge part of, at least I can't speak for everybody in the band, but like
I can.
personally. Okay, please, okay, go on. Answer your own question.
first, I'll speak for Don. Why'd you pick me last, you son of a gun?
I don't know. Personally, I think that as a musician, you should really try to expose yourself to as much as you can in every genre, regardless of your preconceived notions of what it might be. Because if there's something, if people like something, there's a reason for that.
Sure.
And I think as like an artist, you should find a way to figure out what that is, and then you can steal it. Basically, yeah, and then use it for your own music and keep writing better.
Wait a
and better
minute, I'm
music.
coming up with a band name: Pilferage.
Just down tune it, slow it down,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's yours. You're
Down
good.
tuned Pilferage.
Yeah.
Tom and I have heard you guys play in here rehearsing and
Yeah.
stuff. But I think the first time I ever saw you guys live was at our show.
Yeah.
And no names or anything being said, but like we've done a few of these shows, and sometimes some of the bands or acts don't keep some attention, but like you guys, no matter what you were playing,
Yeah.
kept the attention.
People were
Well,
not
that was
bored.
awesome.
Yeah, I think
And
a
I
big
kept
part
wanting
of
to walk
that-
outside to do my normal chew gum,
Yeah.
spit, fart mostly. But
Thanks
I was
for
like,
not doing that inside.
I was like in there holding. but damn good.
Yeah,
and I had a couple of friends there that are super duper
Shit.
assholes, for lack of a better term. They're like,
Okay.
"Oh, they're pretty fucking good, man." I said, "Yeah,"
Very
and that's
well.
the actual voice that Catherine used.
Yeah. She
Well,
sounds
thank
like
you.
that.
Yeah.
I think that comes, again, personally speaking, huge at the drive-in fan. And I love Cedric and how ridiculous he is on stage.
How about,
so.
how about them getting back together, huh?
Oh, dude. Okay, so Mars Volta, back in the studio.
Yeah, right. Huh?
Anyway, so I'm like me and Dom especially. We are huge Mars Volta fans and Omar and Cedric fans. So like, this is my first time being like a quote unquote like front man. I hate using that term because I think everyone should be a front man in their own right. But with that kind of like ideology of like you want to put on an entertaining, high energy show that is actually
It don't
captures
get no
attention.
high than that, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Have you seen Omar's signature Ernie ball that just came out?
Oh, it just came out?
I think it's out now.
Oh
It
shoot,
should be
no!
out.
I know he had
Oh
one
my
that
God.
he had
It's
one come
so
out like
insane.
10
gonna
years
look it
ago
up
that
right now on
cost
his phone.
$666.
Oh my God, I
there's
can't
a
Google
new
it
one.
fast
it's,
enough.
It's the strangest shape I've ever seen on a guitar.
course it is. Oh my
it's
God.
beautiful, and it's got a crazy ass design on it too.
Ah,
My guitar
that's
player was wanting to get
awesome.
one, but he's a lefty, and he's like, "Fuck, they don't offer a left-handed version." I'm like, "Damn."
But Omar's a lefty. How do they not have a lefty version of it?
That's a really good point. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you seen their bobblehead?
I haven't now.
I don't think they have one.
Oh, okay. if I'm
why.
being honest,
I was just trying to chime in on some shit I knew about.
I respect the Mars Volta to death. It's
Yeah.
just not really my jam. So like,
Fair enough.
I agree with
don't
that.
listen to
I would
it
go
often.
more at the drive-in, but if I had my choice, I'd probably
Yeah.
say, you know what? Give me some TV on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing
There you
out
go.
bands that I like a little bit better than other bands, but I got major
I like
respect.
a lot
fair.
of weird bands that like
Yeah.
nobody else listens to, and that's totally fine. So like, I don't ever judge anybody if they say they listen to something weird.
I don't think my stuff would be very foreign to you. Maybe to Richie, but I'm into a lot of weird, Polish and Scandinavian black metal
Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
dude, have you heard Glory Hammer? I've just recently found them. They're like a
I'm moving the mic away from my head so I can say, "Yeah, motherfucker."
dude. I
Yeah,
just
I actually
recently
have.
found them like
Yeah.
a week and a half ago. They have this new album that came out, and it's straight up like a D&D campaign in an album, and it is the most
awesome.
glorious power
What a
metal
way to
I've
describe
ever heard. It's
But
straight up
somebody,
is.
the first time I played the sword for somebody like 10 years ago, they said
Yeah.
it sounds like, what's the thing? Lord of the Rings. I was like, how's that sound like Lord of the Rings? That's just what I'm thinking of right now.
That's funny.
Elves.
There's this band that I've been listening to a lot lately. They are one of the heaviest bands I've ever heard. They're called Brand of Sacrifice, but the whole band, yeah, like their art, their merch, their lyrics, everything is based off of arguably the most brutal anime ever put together. It's called Berserk, and like, lyrically, it's like watching an episode of Berserk, and it's just the heaviest metal I think I've heard
Wait,
in
what?
a very long time.
What are they called?
They're called Brand of Sacrifice.
He's Googling it again.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna listen to this.
Yeah, the best song in my opinion is Eclipse.
Guess we'll link them in the bio below.
Yeah. Free shout out, Brand of Sacrifice.
And you said you didn't have metal roots.
Yeah.
What about let's talk about some more music that you guys do then.
Yeah,
You guys had a video come out not long ago.
Yeah.
And the new single.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah, we just released a music video for our song called Lifeguard. It's the second single off of EP that'll be out December 13th. EP is going to be called Part 2, I Tried. Was going to be a 6-song. We decided to stagger it.
So you telling me y'all dropping a deuce?
Yeah.
That's movie talk.
Yeah, no. So the first one was Be Kind, and the second one is I Tried. So the whole is Be Kind, I Tried.
Gotcha.
So the one coming out will have 4 songs on it, including Lifeguard. We recorded it with my buddy Justin Beasley. He runs KOTK Productions. He's done all the music videos for I Wrestled a Bear Once, Kill Whitney Dead, a few others. So,
Nice.
Super high quality
At this
video.
point, they've been
Yeah.
around long enough that they could have wrestled twice, maybe.
yeah. Well, I guess it depends on who won the first match, right?
True.
Yeah. But anyways, he's based out of
You make a lot of good
right
points,
in our neighborhood.
kid. Come on you.
He's right out in our neck of the woods, and I've known him forever. So he put together a fantastic video for us. Still super impressed by it, and the reception's been really good. The song itself is it's kind of universal in its theme. I wrote it. At the time, I just had a buddy who was going through some stuff, and he kept coming to me for advice, and I'd give him my 2 cents and tell him, I think this is what you should do, or, at least consider this. And every time, it's like as soon as he left, his mind would just switch and go right back to what it was. So I just got fed up with it, and the point is basically stop asking for my advice if you aren't going to take it.
Yeah.
And
tried,
getting away
man.
from something like that. Yeah.
Video idea kind of collectively band thing.
It was myself and the director's idea. Okay. Yeah. Originally, I kind of wanted it to be more straight for what the song was written about, but he said, let's try and make it a little more universal, like make it more like a toxic relationship, like you're trying to help somebody.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I mean, with your film background, or at least training or studying, did you storyboard and all that kind of stuff when you were
I have,
do it?
yeah. So every time I've come up with a video for an idea, I'll usually listen to the song over and over and over and have like time brackets of like I want to see like this type of scene going on here, and he's got a lot more experience with all that than I do. So the way it's been working out,
but at least you had a working knowledge of it.
Yeah. The way it's worked out every time so far is, this is the song, this is what I see in my head for the video. What do you think? And most of the time he's like, I like this, and this about your idea, but let's do this instead. And I'm still really thrilled with everything he's come up with so far. We're shooting another one with him in the first 2 weeks of December. We got to try and figure out when we're cramming it in, but that'll be really fun. That'll be out next year. So
a lot of abandoned buildings that they're redoing right down the street here.
That's funny you say that. I think we're doing it. We're doing it either in like an old abandoned building. Ideally, we want to do it out in the woods somewhere. We got this whole kind of theme
here
going on.
Do you want to tell people what the name of the song is you're gonna do?
Yeah, we can. The name of the song is it's called N.A. It's about people struggling with addiction and basically not giving up on them. And we got a bunch of really cool stuff planned for the music video, and it'll be its own single.
Was that also inspired by maybe the friend that's not taking your advice sometimes?
Yeah, it could
There's nothing
be,
wrong
for
with
sure.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
Must be a good friend.
Yeah.
Or somebody you care about.
He's been one of my buddies since high school, so like I love him. I'm not going to abandon him by any means, but yeah, it was one of those points where it's just like, man, you've been asking me for advice for like 6 months, and you haven't taken a damn word I've said to heart. Like, I'm just going to quit.
Well, thanks for bringing us down.
Richie, different video topic for you. We were talking to our buddy Gabe in here.
Yeah.
And he said you guys did a mini beats.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming out soon?
Yeah, so there's this app called Loom, which apparently is iPhone only. So as a Galaxy S7 owner, I will be unable to view it on that platform.
Get it together, Loom.
I think they're just starting out.
Or Samsung.
I can't get it on my Pixel, so whatever.
I'm just like,
Pixel team.
Yeah, right.
this sucker still
4XL.
works. It's
No, I mean, I
4 or
got a
5
new
years
one, and
old.
it's pissing me off, man. I miss
got
my
a-
old S4.
I got a 3 and a 4.
Yeah, motherfucker, that's right. I had an S4.
That's impressive that it still survived. But yeah, so we had Gabe come in. We did one of our bigger songs that gets a really nice. We all love playing it. It's called Generations. We have a version up now on like Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. But we've kind of reworked it to be a little more truncated and a little more like in your face. And we just absolutely love playing the new version of it. So we figured we would, instead of going into like a studio and maybe like totally like redoing it, which maybe we still will. I don't know. But we get essentially like a live. It's almost like an Audio Tree live style performance of the song in our practice room here at the Playroom.
916 Takasiji.
There you go. So Gabe came in with some really nice audio and video equipment. We recorded it. And he's actually working on editing it all now. And we actually should have a version of it for review at the end of tonight or tomorrow.
I know when it's going to premiere on Friday because it'll be on this post.
Oh, no shit.
We have to do the time travel thing again. The other day I was saying, later on. I mean, today.
Oh,
So
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, it's premiering underneath this thing on Friday, which is today.
Okay.
Are you from the future?
You don't need to know.
Haircut,
Yeah, so it was a really cool experience. I think everybody in the band like kind of crushed their instruments respectively, and I'm really excited to see how it turned out.
But it's going to be good. Gabe was talking about it. It took him a while to edit it and stuff, and he said everything looks good.
Yeah, Gabe's good, man. We have so many good neighbors here and so many talented people and creative people, and it's good for us to be here. We're not musicians, nor are we talented, but I mean, you guys and Gabe, the Bungees Productions is Gabe's company. Winter's Gate, Prep and Berry. I'm just on that hallway there. It's just, although Winter's Gate might have moved to the other hall. Anyway, I'm talking shop, but here at the Playroom, there are around 30 rehearsal units inside here, and We occupy the back wall because we are dominating the place. But all the other ones have good, talented musicians. And we're just lucky to be able to hear it just when you're practicing. But the really good, there are some bands in here that, they're just working through some things, let's say. But guys like you guys and the ones I mentioned, Winter's Gate and such, it's just good. We'll turn down our radio to listen to you guys. And there's no better compliment than that. If I'm going to turn down some Waylon Jennings to listen to somebody, they better be good. And you are.
What about Jersey? Where do you guys rehearse in Greensboro?
We actually just have a standard storage unit, climate control.
Classic.
It's kind of the go-to spot in Greensboro. It's American Flag Storage off Inman Road, if anybody's looking. There's another band in our building, and we've talked to them in passing, but they're like a really...
Is it indoors?
Yeah, it's inside.
We started out in a storage unit with our screen printing, and we didn't have no fucking heat, dude.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
We didn't understand that ink will freeze when it's cold.
God,
We've come a long way. It's good times.
We've come 12 miles.
Yeah. But no, there's a bunch of bands that practice out there. There's one in particular in our building called the Velvet Devils, and they're just crazy talented. It's just like jazz funk music.
Oh, hell yeah.
I never like hear any vocals. I just hear them jamming out for like 20 minutes at a time. Like, is that a song, or y'all just playing an EP front to back? Like, what's going on here? This is
fucking
nuts.
around right now.
Yeah,
You guys ever stand in the hallway and goes, you guys are talented. No, you guys are talented.
yeah, we've done that whole like, that sounded awesome, guys. Yeah, you guys sounded good too. Like in passing and
Like
stuff.
that Spider-Man meme where you're just
Everyone's pointing at each other. Is that just like standard etiquette at a practice spot?
Yeah, I think so. It's the same thing as the show, like,
Yeah.
great set, man. Yeah, great set.
Oh, I saw this meme where it was like kids at like a little league game, like giving each other a high five after the game, and it's like bands after the show's over.
Great set, man.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why you can really tell
game.
when people mean that shit. Like after the show at Hattie's, I was telling you guys, hey, man, I'm not bullshitting. That shit was good.
Yeah,
and
you
other
can
people, I
tell
was like,
the
yeah, it's
real-
pretty good, man.
Yeah.
What do you guys have coming up towards the end of the year? And then where can everybody find you on the old internet?
Oh, good call, the plug.
Word.
Yeah, so we actually this past weekend just started recording a little EP with some of our newer songs that we've been playing out at some of our more recent shows that we're extremely excited about. Shout out to Craig Sutton, our other guitarist in the band, for busting his ass straight up and just learning really quickly of how to record very well. And we had some really, really good equipment to use as well. So the raw tracks already sound like great. So we're looking to... Oh, Lord.
Sorry
so
if I
we're
wrote some shit.
we're looking to release that here in the next couple of months.
Miller Lite really did.
I'll tell you, Miller Lite goes straight to my head.
That's 10 ounces of joy. So.
Shout out to Craig though too, because he was in a loom that
Yeah.
Nettie and Gabe just did playing a little guitar, and that was cool. I'll put that.
Yeah,
with the
Craig's
stuff.
been putting in
do
some
it.
time over here lately. I
Yeah,
noticed.
man. Full timer. So we're working on that. That's kind of our big push right now. We do, and then after 2020 is basically just trying to play out in as many play Charlotte as much as we can, but also trying to push out more into some of the surrounding areas, like Greensboro and all that.
Stay out of Pelzer.
You really don't like this.
Sucks, dude.
Jesus.
It's 124 acres of shit.
That sounds like Iowa.
The whole state?
Yeah, that's what
They got corn.
I've never been to
Hot
Iowa.
takes.
Don't they have corn?
That's about it. They got Corn and Slipknot, not the band Corn.
Korn.
Yeah, no.
I was talking about corn with a K.
No, I don't remember where they're
I
from.
can't wait until we get a call from somebody out there, and they're like, "Hey, I'd like to sponsor your podcast, but just kidding, fuck you."
Well, first of all, nobody's going to want to.
I can
Nobody's gonna
make
wanna
that
sponsor.
call if you like. I don't have shit to sponsor you with, but if you just want to get let down, I'm your guy.
My caller ID says this is coming from Pelzer. Who the hell is this?
This is a trap. Anyway, sorry, Richie.
Yeah. So yeah, working on the new EP. Next year, we're gonna just hit the songwriting as hard as we can and just keep trying to write the best songs possible. If you listen to any of our other stuff, we don't really have like a certain genre that's easily something we can just be like, yeah, we sound like this. So just check it out and see if you enjoy our old stuff, and if you do, then you'll definitely like our new stuff because it's that thing where you always feel like your newest baby is your best baby.
Yeah.
And
The Neil Young complex.
Like you love your old stuff, but your newest stuff, you're like, oh, this is way better. So we'll be having some new songs come out in the next couple of months here. You can check out our existing recordings on all your major streaming platforms. So, your MySpaces, your Zyngas,
Your LimeWire.
LimeWire. Yeah.
Name drops are fierce.
We have a show.
Thank God you asked, Brian.
Yeah, and thank God he's prepared.
Oh, yeah, right?
You
I'm
can
not very
look
good
up
at
the
this.
latest Pumpkinhead thing that the guy from Mars Volta did, but you don't know when you're playing.
How about where can people find you and find out where you're
All
playing?
right, so right now we're still using Facebook as a way to kind of just at least broadcast.
Nothing wrong
Still
with that.
using
up to-
Facebook.
What do you mean still? It's
well,
current.
Yeah, that's an opinion thing.
Shit.
So, and it's not updated.
It's
with
free.
them. We have a show coming up in December. We'll update our Facebook, so hopefully before this podcast airs. So like us on Facebook, find us on Spotify. Please give us a follow. It would mean a lot for us, to, especially with the algorithms out there nowadays, to help us get our music out there to newer and more people. So yeah, follow us on. We're on iTunes, Spotify, all those boys. The Phantom Friends. That's us.
Hell yeah.
Cool. How about Jersey?
Yeah. So we just got picked up by a manager. His name's Eric. He works for a company called Word is Bond. Shout out to Eric. Thanks again. So right now we're kind of just in the process of sending our stuff out, waiting to hear back from people. We do have shows coming up. We have one this Friday, November 22nd. It's going to be out in Fayetteville at Drunk Horse Pub with Affinity and Reckless Abandon. And we're playing The Blind Tiger December 13th with the Spill Canvas, Juliana Theory, and Corey Wells.
Juliana Theory. Nice.
Yeah. Juliana Theory is doing an acoustic set, too, which should be
That's a band I
pretty
haven't heard in a while.
interesting. Yeah.
Fayetteville. That's a town I hadn't heard of in a while.
Yeah. Our drummer's actually from there, so.
No, I bet those crowds get rowdy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When there's nothing else to do, yeah, everybody's going to go to the
Drink
show,
and
right?
serve your country.
So
that
that's
order.
going on for the rest of the year, basically. We do have some plans with our manager about doing some weekend tours after the first of the year.
What about Charlotte?
Charlotte would definitely, I'd love to play out here. I mean, all of our connections are all basically from Greensboro to Raleigh to the Fayetteville area. So we'd love to branch out here, absolutely. Our 4-song EP, Be Kind, or I Tried, Part 2, I Tried. That's coming out the same day that we're playing with the Spill Canvas. They've just been a huge, huge inspiration to me, like as a musician, that, I knew the EP was going to come out sometime in December. We're playing with them December 13th. Might as well just make
Perfect.
the two go together. So we have one single we'll release before then, but we haven't really announced the release date. So just follow us on Facebook, which goes into what he was saying about links. Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Spotify, Instagram. Pretty unique name, like the Phantom Friends, so it shouldn't be too hard to find us. Just a simple search. Yeah, also on YouTube, all that stuff.
Cool.
Hell yeah. And Brian, you got some new things cooking. Do you want to say anything about?
Well, the podcast is going to be premiering on these
That's
things.
not new. That's old because when this comes out, it's already done.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So you're listening to this on my new project. It's Stream CLT. Was involved in a music thing here. Kind of going another route.
It's going to bring it and focus more on local stuff
Yeah.
as opposed to nationwide.
Yeah, we were doing nationwide stuff. I want to get back to my roots of just following and doing local stuff. So we're doing a lot with the Loom stuff that Gabe's doing, a lot with the podcast, a lot with just local
And we
music.
consider Greensboro local.
Yeah.
It's in our sphere.
Yeah. I mean, in Carolina in general is what I'm trying to just focus on, in like our radius, and
Columbia.
an hour to two out of here.
Well, there's so much talent just in North Carolina. It's insane.
Right, and
Like,
that's why I want to get back to what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for
But,
like a platform for all these artists to really get themselves out there. I think that's awesome. I think we, like the community definitely could use it. Just to hopefully bring it a little closer together. I feel like it's still pretty fragmented.
yeah.
And I don't know. I think we should all support
Well,
each
part
other
of that
as much
might
as
be because
possible.
there's so many people in the scene now.
Very
so,
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to shit on anybody, but there's a Music Everywhere initiative that they're doing here in Charlotte, and they're trying to do a lot with the city and stuff. But I looked at their website, and there's a section on there for local music, and there's like 6 bands on there. And I know there's way more than that. So,
Man, we got at least 12.
so I just want
Damn.
to, push, and even national bands that come through that are going to play it at someplace small. I want people to know about it. So just Carolina focused.
I think it's going to be a good thing.
I do too.
Spread your influence, Brian. All right, guys, I think that's all we got. We can't thank you. Well, we can thank you enough, actually. I think thank you very, very
Well,
much.
we
thank
can't
you.
thank you enough for having us, for sure.
That was
you
just
could.
enough
You
thanks.
could just say thanks.
okay.
It ain't
Guys,
like we did
this will
shit.
be out, guys. This will be out in time for Thanksgiving, so calm down.
It'll be out
Perfect,
before Thanksgiving at this point, the way
Yeah.
you're talking. Because edit that out.
We'll
and
let that
post.
on post.
Richie Gaiser,
Logan! Oh,
Richie
sorry.
Gaiser, a fan of Friends, and Jersey Neese, Run Home Jack. Thank you very much, guys. Check them out. You heard all their particulars of social media and interwebs and whatnots, and support the music. If nothing else, by listening, liking, and chat them up amongst your friends. Somebody's gonna like it. We like it, and we're not total assholes.
Yeah, and if you like the Spill Canvas but never heard Run Home Jack, go check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't cost that much. It's great fun. You can go see Run Home Jack and then go home to your kids or whatever the hell people do.
And on that note, we the venue's selling tickets for about 20 a pop, and we have them for 15. So if anybody's trying to
incentives.
trying to get them on the cheap, hit us up. I think
I
we
like
still
it.
have about like 5 or 10 left.
No
somewhere around there.
convenience fees.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you'd like to be in their next video, just send your best murder photo of murdering, not being murdered. That'd be
Yeah.
weird.
It'd be hard to send a picture
After
of
being
your murder.
murdered.
That's pretty brutal.
Not if
you can
somebody-
do that,
Yeah.
that's fucking brutal.
No,
Not
set
if you're a
timer,
time
bro.
traveler.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Unless you're listening in Pelzer, South Carolina, because you guys suck. Logan,
need
thanks
to
for
see
being
that
on the
video.
board. Thank you to
seen
the
that. I haven't
Playroom,
seen it.
playroomonline.com, theplayroom.online.com. And don't forget to go check out Mad Park Designs. I mean, we kind of do all this crap, but we'd like to pay our bills too. Screen printing, web design, graphic design, and it gets real graphic. Thank you very much, and smoke if you got 'em. Fucking raging lunatic. But he's from Kansas, and he would always tell him these fucked up stories about being from Kansas. So today, the one that had me, I was in tears, and people on South Boulevard thought I was upset about something. But he said that
Because you were just walking around.
I was still nude, but I was in the car. But anyway, like, he said he played football in high school, which is hilarious because he's not athletic. But he said that once a year, and I'm probably gonna start laughing again. Said, once a year, the coach would let them bring in any weapon they wanted to, and use it in practice if they attached it to their helmet.
What? Wait a minute. What?
Is this real?
Can
Yeah,
you
it is.
explain the logistics
Well,
behind this?
his my good buddy is what he said. He said my good buddy had a table leg screwed into a helmet, and I lost it over that.
Why would you
But
bring a
then-
table?
I don't
That
know.
would've
But then,
Right?
but then Howard says, "Did you bring any weapon?" He said, "Yeah, I put a saw blade in my helmet."
It sounds like BattleBots, but with actual
People.
humans.
But
as
with
the-
with Hicks.